Jim Marino with the Daily Planet, and I'm being joined by James Lott Jr. from JLJ Media. James, thank you for being with us today.
Excuse me, hi, Jimmy. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, we both have, again, the alliterations of the same name.
We
so
do.
You go by Jimmy, I go by James.
Yep. So. Yep. One of the many things we have in common.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. How are you?
I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well also.
I am.
Okay, now we have this is just an absolutely amazing story, in my opinion. And when you shared all this with me, I was just, I was blown away. And the more that I had time after we talked the first time to think about it, the more I realized that it's, it's a story that's crossing, it's a success story that crosses cultural and racial barriers. Which is absolutely, amazing. So I want to get a little background first, before we let everybody know what's going on. Can you tell us a little about JLJ Media, what you do and what services you offer, so that, moving forward, our viewers will understand what else is going on there?
Yeah, no, thank you. This story I had is very interesting and very unusual and very wonderful and very timely. JLJ Media is a company that's been in business 12 years, but during the pandemic, became a network. I decided to make it a network 4 years ago. Our industry shut down, like everything else, it just shut down. Literally nothing was happening. Nothing was being filmed. Nothing was whatever. And we're a multimedia company. So we do everything. We have music. We have books. We have audio dramas. We have reaction videos, which that's how you know me from reaction from network shows. We have original programming, original shows, everything from Star Wars to soap operas to When Calls the Heart. I can make sure so my hearties out there. But we're a multimedia company that I started from scratch in my 50s. That I decided to do where it's a company that gives you content. Very broad content, but also I'm here to serve. I'm here to help people make their dreams come true. If they want to do something, like whether it's directing, writing, hosting, whatever, that's what JLJ Media does too. We also teach. So we also have a whole teaching arm too, because I'm also a certified life coach and professional organizer and instructor. So I have that going on too. But it's a multimedia company, and we just have all kinds of content.
Yep. Okay. Now, one of the services that I know that you offer is for clients who may be interested in having a podcast. You can host those services. Now, how long have you been doing that?
That's since the pandemic. So it started first with Casey Hutchinson came to me from Illinois. I love my Midwest. It's a Midwest theme going on here. Who had a script from something he was writing. I was like, maybe we should turn this into something. And we said, maybe we should turn it into an audio drama. That kind of started my whole collaborative process. So when it comes to whether it's an audio drama or a podcast, what we do is we offer packages. Either you put together yourself and we do the rest. We do the promotion, we produce and get it out there, host it, all kinds of stuff, and get the word out. You press, all kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Or you can come to me and we'll walk you through it and teach you basically how to do this, which is what kind of happened, which is kind of happening right now with our main story, is that schools, libraries, networks, whatever, come to me and go, James, can you put together a podcast? Okay. Do you want to host it or should we host it? How long do you want it to be? We help with names, theme songs. We give you a whole package. Like, we have prices. You can check us out for prices, contact me for prices. But we put all of it. We have everything. Put everything together for you. How to record it. How to send it in, how to write titles, I get it approved on all the audio streaming service platforms, going from iHeartRadio, Spotify, all the other ones, Amazon, everything. I always say it's easy breezy. Like, you come to us, tell me what you want, and we'll try to make it happen for you the easiest way possible and make it fun for you. But we have all these packages for you that we will provide it for you. You want to write a book? Come to me and we will help you put the book together, the whole shebang for that too. You have music you want to put together. I have producers for music. Mm-hmm. It's like, basically come to us and we'll help make your dream come true. There's a price, of course. It's not free. But you come to us and we'll make your dream come true. But we'll do it in a way that you'll understand, and whatever level of involvement you want, we can also talk about that too.
Yep. Okay, and that leads us right up to the story that we're going to talk about. And so I know that you explained to me you had been going over some business information. I believe it may have been for tax purposes, and you noticed something that was pretty unusual, which was a large part of your business that was coming from a small rural area in Indiana. Now, the area is called, I believe it's Clinton, Indiana. And prior to us talking, I had never heard of Clinton, Indiana. So, yeah, so, I started looking up. So, I mean, it's a small area, but you're getting an unusual amount of business from that area, given the size that it is. So, if you could, tell us how you discovered that was happening and go into that story.
Yes, in this picture, the guy who's not me, over there, that's Doug S. Major collaborator with me, who started out as a voiceover actor for one of my dramas, Mr. Hill Road, which was my second successful audio drama. It's out there, 2 seasons. You can check it out anywhere. I had him play this kind of mysterious Uncle Charlie. Found him on Craigslist, folks. Remember Craigslist? Yep. It was on Craigslist. This is 2020. He was my first batch of people that came to me. And then he said he had an idea for his thing called Forgotten Hollywood, which is a huge hit for us. It's a huge show, audio podcast. And then I started talking to him. We started becoming friends. And I found he's from this place called Clinton, Indiana. I never gave much thought. This was 4 years ago. Never gave much thought. But little by little, he was like, well, are you open to other shows? I'm like, I'm always open to shows. So he had started about 4 or 5 shows with various people, various things. We started one with the Ernie Pyle World War II Museum, which I get to go to when I was there. I get to see him in Dana, Indiana, which is right nearby. Hi, folks in there. That became successful. We did one. They're in Vermilion County, so we started one with Vermilion County. So doing this, but I was never paying attention to where he was from. Like really, I knew he was in the Midwest. Thought. Then we got some partnerships with one of their main schools, South Vermilion High School, and it's all high school sports, which is a big deal nowadays. People love it. I had 2 daughters. They were both They're both athletic. My grandkids, all athletic. So anybody who has kids or grandkids, or nephews or nieces, you're in that. We start these podcasts, and I look at the numbers all the time in terms of just like this, like how they do. Because I have 85 shows, folks. I mean, I have a lot of shows on my network now. I'm very proud of that. But I see like my top 10, and I'm like, these shows were all going in the top 10 or number 1. And then I look at the numbers. But it wasn't until I was going through my taxes and going through my accountant and looking at all this, and I went, wait a minute. I got like 13 shows from this one town. I think a third of my media money coming in is from this town in Clinton, Indiana. And that's what woke me up. And I was like, wait a minute, what is going on here? And it's kind of amazing. I was telling Doug, this is kind of amazing. And I said, but then I have all these people who are hosting these shows. I don't know who they are. And I'm like, my first thing was, I need to meet them. And at first I was like, I don't want to do a Zoom call and be like this. I said, I need to go to Clinton, Indiana. That's how it started.
Okay. Now I had a chance to speak with Doug Hess, who you were just talking to, and he said that now he's your main contact in that area. Okay. And I asked him how the people that were doing the podcast, that were doing business with you, what it was like for them when you made the effort to make a trip out there and actually, see them in person. And Doug said, and I quote, I think that they were very pleased to be able to see him. All of them knew he lived out in the Inglewood, Hollywood area of California. So to see him in person was a big surprise. So when you were deciding that, what exactly helped you make the decision that you were going to go in person, out to this smaller rural area in Indiana from California?
Well, it started business-wise. I'm a people person, as you know. Mm-hmm. I like to visit the people. But I always feel like, I'm very grateful to everybody who believes in JLJ Media. Anyone. I mean, that includes you. Anybody who will cover my shows, cover my stuff, tell me like it worked for me, whatever. I'm like, when it kind of working for me is when I'm not really their boss, I'm kind of working for me. I should talk to them. I should see them, see what's going on, meet them in person. There's just much more in personal touch, like it's literally personal response. And that's just that to me is boss 101. That's just if you are ahead of something, you go visit the people and see what's going on, talk to them, show appreciation, treat them well. I already do that with my my followers, my fans. I've done fan events and things like if that's the best part. You go and you talk to them. I would not be here if it wasn't for them. So, but I was like, I don't know where Clinton is. And my mother, we looked at the map. It don't show up on the map either. You have to like really open the map and keep opening it and opening it. I'm like, where is this place? So like, where am I? So tell folks at home, it's like close to Illinois border of Indiana. So it's between, I would say it's between Indianapolis. We all know where that is. Lucas Oil Stadium. I went there. Or Terre Haute, which is another big city. I have some family there. Still didn't tell me where. I'm like, I still know where this is, and I'm a pretty fearless guy. But even I was like, my family was like, you're going to, and you're the only black person. Like, what's going on? And so Clinton is a really it's like 4,400 people live there. It's small. It's cornfields everywhere. And I was like, I'm going to be fearless. I'm going to trust Doug. Doug's like, he'll be my handler. He was my handler. I was going for a short trip. I was like, I might go for like 3 or 4 days. I'm like, so I'm like, I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to Chicago first, see some friends in Chicago, then come on down, and that's what I did. But I love Chicago, another Midwest city I love. But I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go, and I'm going to just trust that's going to be okay. Then, as I'm saying Psalm 91 over and over again, God protection Psalm, protection Psalm, protection Psalm. It'll be fine. Some of you guys get that at home. You guys will get that at home. And I said, I'll be fine. I'm like, why worry? I'm like, I'm going to be good. So literally, that was just it was a very business decision, but also partly personal. I said I really like to have a personal touch. So I just felt like if I meet them, they meet me. They'll see that I'm not just shadowy figure that Doug brought into their lives. That I am somebody who's for real. And you know what? It may boost morale, make a better connection. And so that was the decision to go. And then I had to start looking how to get there from Los Angeles. It's not easy because first I saw there was no hotel in Clinton. So like, where am I going to stay? Well, Doug's like, you stay with us. So I was like, I don't know these people, but okay, I'm going to trust this. And then there's no airport like to fly into there. Like, so I found a way. I got there. It took several modes of transportation. It was like a plane, trains, and automobiles. It took all that. But I got there. Like literally took all that. I got there.
Okay. When you got to your destination, and you touched on this just a little bit, I'm obviously you would notice that most of the people in that area, maybe if not all, you would instantly recognize they don't look like you.
No, they don't.
So when you get there and you realize, this is an area that's predominantly white people, and you're there. Did that give you any pause or concern about how you may be received, or was that an issue?
I was ready. I was kind of like, okay, let's see what happens. But I've been to other Midwestern cities that I've had no problem before.
Yeah.
So like that's my face. I had no problem. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I think when you're open as a person and you don't go in looking for trouble, you go in going, okay, this is going to be a good experience. It'll at the very least it'll be an interesting experience. I'm gonna go and just be myself and see what happens. Like I see what happens. And I just kind of went in going, okay, we go. And I met Doug. I first saw Doug in person after 4 years of online. I was like, you're taller than I thought I was. Like I said, that's that whole weird after pandemic meeting people. And I'm a big 6 foot, 300-something pound black man. So I was like, okay, they're going to see me in this town, whether I like it or not. They're going to see me walking through town. So, but I feel like if you stay open, don't look for trouble, be yourself, and let them meet you. Let them meet you. If they're not going, if someone's not going to like you, they're not going to like you. Doesn't matter doesn't matter what you do. But some folks may just not know, and they meet you and they go, "Oh my God," and it's fine. So I went in with an open heart, open mind. That's what I went in.
Okay. When you first started offering, like the hosting services and the various things that your company does, when you first started offering these things to people, Did you ever envision a time that it could potentially lead you to where you'd been in a situation like this, where you've been able to cross cultural and racial barriers? Did that ever, come into your line of thinking?
No, and I think the pandemic did have something to do with it too. Um, Hollywood, I'll put it in quotes because Hollywood could mean anything.
Yep.
Hollywood is changing. California is changing. And I think with the businesses that are starting to kind of leave California and go somewhere else where it's cheaper, I won't get started on that. I think it almost led to this. For me, it was like, James, go where the success is happening. Like, it may not look what you thought it was going to look like. It didn't. I had no clue I'd be in Clinton, Indiana. I had no idea. But on some level, because I started with the Hardys and the whole Wayne calls the Hart crowd and Hallmark, which many of them are from the Midwest,
yeah,
and from the South. That started 9 years ago. I've been doing this. I am the OG show, the West, because our half show, we've been doing this since the beginning. Make sure I say that. And hi to Brian Bird and everybody. That was a great precursor to this. So I was already kind of I was already building a fan base from the Midwest and stuff. And there was like, oh, and I crossed color lines there too. I mean, there was, I said, we had a fan event for me in outside of, it was in Ohio, it was outside of Cleveland. We had years ago. 51 people showed up, 51 Hardys, and they came to see me and each other. And we had the best time. I've gone to other Hardys events, the best time. Met Hardys in other states. So I was like, I never thought when I got into this business almost 20 years ago, that I would have an impact that me just being myself would actually cross color lines and cross, upbringings and cross states. I had no clue whatsoever that was going to happen. No.
Yep. And to me, that is the most amazing part about this story.
I agree. I totally agree.
And unfortunately, we're still in a world that has hate and racial biases.
Yes.
And I pray that, eventually we reach the point to where a trip like this that you just took, it wouldn't even come up. Did you expect an issue, or, hopefully we reach the point to where we all see each other as created equal by God, which is what I believe in the way I was raised.
Yes.
That everybody's created equally. And I hope we reach that point as a nation.
Well, let me tell you something. I want to talk about that for a second because in Clinton, because I want to praise the Clintonians. I guess what they're called.
Clintonians. Yeah.
But I'm trying to start my own. I started calling it Clintonwood. That's my new. I'm setting up ties there. I'm going back actually next month. No, I want to give praise to all of them because everyone I met could have not been nicer and more welcoming. And it was very small town, down home. I mean, in LA, we don't do pop-ins in LA. If you don't call first and schedule it, don't come to my house. But we're driving down the street. Doug sees somebody that we know. We just pull on over. I'm in the house on the couch laughing at everybody. Like it's such a throwback for me coming from LA where we're all jaded and bitter out here. But there's a throwback to like that's how it used to be all over the place. We just come in, everybody's welcome. You're just shooting the breeze. We're talking, and every person I met was super. I mean, when I went to the Ernie Pyle World War II Museum, the girl there, and the other like, we've never seen somebody so excited to be here. It's like because I feel like we've had this show for like 3 years on my network. It's a huge hit. I have friends who are into World War II and into war, and meaning like war history. I'm into war.
Right.
It's a war history. I was actually excited to see it in person. I'm from Inglewood, California. I would never be here for any other reason in my entire life. But I could name names, but I'll just one family that I fell in love with. They should be on television. Is the Statler family, and you talk to Jock. Yeah, you talk to him. Jock and Ron and Connie and all them. I love them. They're my people. But it's just like everyone was super nice to me. Everyone was welcoming. I didn't feel. It was like, and we found we had things in common. I would give the Hess family a special. Doug, his wife Missy, his kids, Zach and Drew, totally accepted me. I was in their house for like 4 or 5 days. I had actually good talks with each of them, and we had a great time. It was just like we actually have more. We all have more in common than we actually don't. A lot of stuff, I feel like a lot of stuff is manufactured. That's another story, but I think a lot of stuff is manufactured. But when it comes down to it, they may have some different. Like, people are like, how do you live in a big city? So we may have those kind of differences, but those are not hurtful differences. It's just different. Like, I'm like, how do you shoot a gun? I mean, like these are things I don't do either in LA. But it's like they weren't so big. It's like when you start talking about it, you go, oh, okay. But everything else we had in common. Everything else was like, oh, but we all like food, we all like music, we all like whatever. It's like we like pretty people, whatever. Like we all like the same stuff. And I think if people and really, that's why I love this story. These are kind of flyover states. We fly over them. We go from LA to New York, or LA to Atlanta, or LA to New Orleans. Like these are all these states in the middle that are beautiful, beautiful countryside with beautiful people, and no one just talks to them.
Yep, that's that there's a lot more that unites us than things that would divide us.
Really, seriously.
A lot of things, yeah. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And speaking of, you mentioned the Statler family. I had a chance to speak with Bart Statler. He told me, he said, my journey with JLJ Media began in a rather organic way. It all started when Doug Hess and Chris Wood, who was the local coach there at their hometown high school, they launched a podcast focused on the high school football team. And the show was called Another Wildcat First Down, which is appropriate for a football show.
Yes.
He listened to the show throughout the summer, and he said he really enjoyed it. Now, he's the wrestling coach.
Yeah, yes.
And he said, that gave him the idea, well, why don't we start a wrestling, show, podcast as well. And, so that, and that one is now called Another Wildcat Takedown.
Yes, it is.
And he said he was invited to participate weekly as an insider expert, providing updates for the team and insights into the sport. He said at first he was a little hesitant. He's known for being pretty unfiltered, but the experience turned out to be absolutely fantastic. He said, I quickly found my rhythm and now look forward to each episode. With that being the case, is I guess my question from there is, obviously in communities like this, the school sports are very much supported, the parents supporting, grandparents supporting.
Yes.
And I think that's probably true across the country.
Yes. Absolutely.
Small towns are any school, because they're going to have parental support and grandparent support. So I would think that is something that you would be able to offer these communities, for their schools to be able to have this, right?
Yes. So the thing is, okay, so folks at home, Bart also goes by Jock.
Yeah.
And we're becoming very close friends, actually. We just did a podcast together. It's going to be coming out soon, but we have a lot. We find we have a lot in common, lots of sense of humor and stuff. And I'm learning stuff from him, and he's learning stuff from me. And I love Chris. I met Chris when I was there too. I have more people to meet. I didn't meet everybody. I'm going back and saying meet other people too, but I meet everybody. But what's happening is sports in many of these towns, that is major. Whether it's high school, college, elementary schools, matter. Sports are big, especially in small towns. That Friday Night Light stuff is for real. I guess for real. But also, what we provide them is international and national attention. My podcast goes everywhere. So there might be athletes featured. They go, well, where did that one come from? They may actually notice Clinton, Indiana, in the end, and maybe somebody will pick somebody from there that they would have seen before. That we provide that. That's something we provide. But also, people having skills to learn how to be a host, to learn how to be a host of a podcast, to be a host of a podcast of something you like talking about, right? Like if you love wrestling and high school wrestling and you're a wrestling expert, it'll be fun. But now you can learn how to harness that and become a host is not easy. It's a process. Everybody thinks they can host, but only some are good. I did say that. But I was trained. I was at AfterBuzz TV for 8 years. I was trained. So trust me, I was trained by the best. But high school sports is also very relatable about life. And what's funny, you just said this, when we did the Another Wildcat First Down, it was a huge hit. I mean, let me tell people at home a little brief. I'm not going to get to the weeds of this, but podcasts, you can have 1 or 2 list downloads, and that's it. JLJ Media has surpassed 1.5 million downloads.
Wow!
Just the last 4 years. I mean, we're growing. We're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That means that all my 85 shows, people are listening to them, they're downloading them, they're spinning them, whatever you want to call it. And some podcasts, they come out, they're not huge hits. They get a few things here and there. They get maybe 60 downloads here and there. But we found this particular podcast from a small town in Indiana about a very niche high school football team was getting thousands of downloads. They're at thousands. Like thousands? Like what? What's on? And then we did a basketball podcast from the same from South Vermilion, and that got close to 1,000 downloads. So I'm like, so in the big scheme of things, no, we're not in the top 10 of the national charts of podcasts, but these are making money. These are making money, and they're actually getting people are listening to them. They really are listening to them. And one of the things I got to do when I was there, I got to talk to some of the coaches, some of the hosts, to show them what towns are listening, what cities are listening, what states are. They have to see all that stuff because I get all the analytics. But I was just saying, but for me, it was purely a business. I was like, this football podcast was like my number one show for a while. My 85 show. I mean, I do soaps and everything. That's my number one show from Clinton, Indiana. I'm like, what's going on here? Wildcat Takedown, we had a first season. It did pretty well too. It did pretty well first season. We're getting ready for a second season. Hopefully bigger. But it was just kind of like all of them. We have Breakpoint with Coach Page. We have another high school, Attica High School. We have a huge hit with the Rambler Report. It's another high school football podcast. And out the gate, it was number one. It's getting thousands of downloads. Like, where is this coming from? But you're right, because the whole family, community, everybody's involved. These podcasts are short, sweet, to the point, and you can listen to them anywhere. While you're at the gym, while you're cutting down corn, while you're walking the dog, like you can listen to them anywhere you want. Have it on in the background. You don't have to watch it. And that's easy breezy.
Yeah. I think not only has this brought you and the representatives from this community that work with you, it's united you with them. Not only has it done that, but it also helps to unify their community, because of the support, that they're giving these programs. So, I mean, that's a lot of good coming up.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I'm not just this guy coming in bulldozing and like this. I really want them to be involved. That's why I'm going to go back, do some more hellos to everybody, shake some more babies or whatever. I mean, shake hands. Yeah. But go down there and start meeting more people. There's people like I can just be. I want to go to some of the games. I want to see some of the matches. Like I really want to be part of it. I want to talk to the mayor. Where is it? He's over there. The mayor. I want to talk to the mayor. His name's Josh. There's things I want to do. I mean, I really want to involve my Clinton Wood project. I really want to involve the city. I want to involve the county. I want to involve the town. If we're all in this together, like my friend always says, we all win when we all win, and that's kind of my whole thing. It's like I'm not just coming in and go. Right? I mean, I want everybody to let's do it together. So anybody who wants to be involved in something we're doing, I have some big plans I'm working on there too that want to come up. But I want to involve the town. I want everybody to be involved. It's like, what do you think? But I love talking to them and seeing what I got to see what they were thinking, what they want to do. I want to fulfill the things they want to do, and they know their town better than I do. They know their area better than I do. They know the feelings. They know the temperature, so to speak. But I'll tell you, after I left, I've gained a lot of. All of a sudden, I was getting all these friend requests from Clinton, Indiana. I was like, "Whoa, easy." And I mean, I'm seeing that me going there was a great idea because I'm making friends with people that are there, and I really like it because it's only different in terms of location. A lot of it were the same in many other ways, but it's just that location was like I'm talking to somebody from Indiana. Okay, that's interesting. I love it.
Being in the business that you're in, where do you think the future of podcasting is headed?
Well, there's a joke that the podcasts are now the business card. Everybody has a podcast, and that's true. However, my thing is the podcast is now. The podcast is now. So right now, it's one of those things that you go for your niche. That's what you go for. All my most successful podcasts are all very nichey. Now, I do have Star Wars podcasts because I do reaction shows, and they're successful too. But it's still it's a crowded field. I always feel like they go to the other ones first, the big ones, then they come to us. So I'll take it. I'll take the drippings. I'll take the drippings, like turkey. I'll take the turkey drippings. It's fine because it's still successful for us. But Our other most successful podcasts are the ones that are I have a grandparent podcast, a left-handed podcast, and then all these from Indiana. These are all very specific podcasts, but they have appeal outside of that. And I think that's where the future of podcasting is, because I have friends who are trying to start podcasts. I'm like, you gotta be consistent, but what is your point of view? How different are you from the others? Because there's a million podcasts out there. You have to find something. It could be your delivery. It could be how you do it. It could be how you set the pod. But I think nowadays, it's not even the future. It says the now. It says it's podcasts aren't going anywhere. And like I said, doing these audio dramas and everything, they're not going anywhere. It's people like listening. They're into listening now. Viewing is sometimes just a problem. It's a problem. So I think the future of podcasts is strong. I don't think it's going anywhere. But I think the more niche you go and you start filling those niches, there's so many niches out there just sitting there waiting to be filled, you'll be successful.
Yep. True crime podcasts are really, really popular.
Yes, they are.
And the thing is, there is a ton of them. And and I enjoy listening to them, but I go through and I try to start, weeding out, and I can usually tell in the first 5 minutes, I can usually tell if this is a podcast that I'm going to enjoy. Would that be accurate? Somebody who teaches how to do one?
Yes. Oh, here's so funny. So we do on our channel, we are covering as reaction shows. We call them after shows because it's after the show. We have two. We have one for the Monsters Lyle and Eric Menendez show that's out on Netflix. We have an after show for that, and we have one for Aaron Hernandez on Hulu, the American Sports Story. And they're huge. Those podcasts right now our after show is huge. I'm not even on the show, and the show is huge. It's getting lots of we're getting tons of numbers. Everything is just huge. So I've gotten requests from fans saying, "Do you have a true crime this? Do you have anything? And like, can you do more on this?" So on the Aaron Hernandez, I read the book with James Patrick, so I did a whole thing on that. So I'm like, you're right. That whole space is it's happening on YouTube too. YouTube, TikTok, whatever. It is true crime is in, and I'm thinking about trying to find my way in because actually I have a story. I can't reveal it here, but I was involved with somebody I found out had a crime. I didn't know until afterwards. So I asked some of my fans, and I have a Patreon, and so I asked my friend, like, what do you guys think? Should I do it as a book or as a podcast or whatever? And half of them said book, but the others said podcast series. They said, James, should do a 10-part series and start from how you met this person to the whole thing. I'm like, that's what he said, podcast.
Yeah.
And it's a true crime story. So folks, stay tuned for that. I'm figuring that out. But yeah, somebody I was very close to actually being a bad person. I didn't really know that. So I'm trying to figure that out. But you're right. I just think that it's true crime, like I said, Star Wars, Marvel, DC podcasts, reaction podcasts. There's a one out there now people are doing. It's reaction to music. Young people are reacting to older music. Well, you say old music, it's ours. Unfortunately. I mean, Jimmy, come on. I'm like, 1985? I was there. This is crazy. That's old music. Or even 90s. They're like, oh, yeah, this Shania Twain from 92. I'm like, that's not old. Oh, that's 30 years ago.
There's a ton of them right now on the current generation, maybe people in their 20s or so.
Yes.
And podcast on their first time hearing the Beatles.
I know.
And they're blown away. And
I watched one last night. It was the first time I ever heard of Madonna.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? She's still around, but they're like, we never heard of Like a Virgin and Vogue. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Or Prince, like the one on Prince. I'm like, what? You don't know who Prince is? Like Purple Rain? Like, it's just so weird to me that you're right. They weren't around. But you know that an adult in 2004, 2005.
My granddaughter has an aunt. Now my granddaughter is 10, but her aunt is almost 19. So she's also young.
Yeah.
And she said she was talking about her aunt. Her name is Avery. And she said Avery only listens to the golden oldies. So when she said golden oldies, I'm thinking
40s,
50s or 40s. Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Well, come to find out, she meant 80s pop.
Oh, my God.
80s pop music. And I thought 80s pop is the golden oldie. Really? But yeah. Yeah, it is.
That's all 40 years ago.
I know.
I feel like I'm 25. I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, but I was there in '84, so I mean, I was there. So I mean, I was actually worked. My first job was in '84. I was 15 years old. That was my first job.
Yeah, well, we're the same age, So
we're the same age. So you were there too. You were there too.
Yeah, and to me, that's not the golden oldies, but I guess
it is now.
Today's generation. It really is.
It really is. So, but yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, that's so we try to provide that service too. That if you have something, you want to talk about niche, we probably we can make a podcast out of it, and you just never know. And we're having surprise successes out of stuff. We're like, wow, you just never know.
Yeah. So, what is your goals from this point now that you've had this experience? Has that shifted your business goals or maybe your strategy that you're going to use?
Great question. Yes. yes. Because I'm going for where the success is, and I feel like my success for right now, or at least a large part of it, will be going to Clinton, Indiana, and also any other small towns. And you can contact any small towns. Any small towns want something from. We can talk. I feel like I want to blanket all these towns, schools.
For lots of sun.
Alexa, stop.
Alexa does that, so I can really do that sometimes.
Yeah, she loves to interrupt.
I know I have it over here too. Small towns, colleges, small businesses. We have a podcast in Clinton for festivals. I mean, anything, music, anything, just whatever. If you have an idea, I want to bring you into JLJ Media. My goal is to have 150 shows. My goal is I have programming every day now, but I want to have like lineups every day. Just program. I want to have every. I mean, some days I have lineups, but I really want to. I want to be a true network where anybody can come to my network and say, what does James have? And you find something you can listen to. I want everybody to find something to go, okay, yeah, I can listen to that, or I like that one, or I like this one. That is my goal. My goal is to grow Clinton Wood into something. I'm going back next month for some more stuff, and I've been having meetings with people. I have irons in the fire there. A lot of my goals right now are how it's been changed. Was like now that's added to the equation. I have my book division, my music division, I have all of that and those goals. But no, now this is now one of the top 3 goals is Clinton, Indiana, in my business. We're going that direction, head on.
Okay, and finally, I wanted to ask you, with this experience, does this kind of give you, maybe a little more hope that while, as long as human beings are in the world, we're going to have hatred and racism, because that's just the way that some people are. But does this kind of give you maybe a little bit of renewed hope that maybe we are making some progress, and then everything's not bad on that front, and that we can cross the cultural and racial barriers?
What it does for me is it tells me that there are people who really don't think of race all the time.
Right.
And have nothing against anybody else in the different cultures. They actually wouldn't mind celebrating it. They wouldn't mind. It just either its opportunity is not there. Some places are just very homogenized. They just are. So you don't really get it unless you leave to go somewhere to visit and do that. But what I'm finding for me in these towns has been really wonderful is that they're open. They're just like, I want to judge you as a person. As long as you don't judge me, but just judge me as a person. Like, we look at each other as people first. If I don't like you, it's because I have a reason not to like you, not because of your color or your age or anything like that. It's just there's other reasons why. Because I mean, if you're something bad, you're something bad. But I think it gave me a sense of newell that people were also open to me and saw value in me also as a person. Because what my skin looks like, it literally has nothing to do with this business. I mean, yes, every experience I have feeds into the business. But I mean, in terms of getting to know you, I could be lighter than this, darker than this. It doesn't like it. That's one of the least things about me that's interesting, so to speak. It's like, I mean, I come from all kind of backgrounds. I come from a very mixed race background. That's just kind of what it is. But I think I have something to help you with, and I also have a lot of talents. I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of fun. Like, get to know me first doing that. And I think this Clinton situation, Clinton, Indiana, helped me see that there are places like this that literally they're just that they don't care about all that stuff. They want food on the table. They want to have a lot of laughs. They want to see their kids succeed. All the same things I want. I mean, they're all the same things. The same things I'm thinking about. They want to make sure their house is nice. They have a place to live. We'll make sure we're allowing us to take care of our parents. We have aging parents. They're the same concern. It's the same concern, no matter what race you are. It's the same concerns. Mm-hmm. I'm paying for $7 a gallon for gas out here. We want low gas. Like we want all this. It's like going to Clinton, Indiana, and places like that showed me that they're just people who are just people, and that's actually more common on all races than we think. I think the media plays it up all the time.
Yes.
So we're scared of each other. Yep. And this gave me hope that, well, it just takes a person to say, I'm not going to go by that. I'm going to look at you separately. And that's what gives me hope. I love the folks in Clinton, Indiana. The ones I met, I love them. They're great. They've been wonderful and great. And I look forward to working with them more and getting to know them more. Doug is the best. I mean, Doug is one of my right-hand men. And it gave me some hope, yes. And I think that, but also I want to share that hope with the rest of the world and say, look at this. Look at what we're doing. This can be done anywhere. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's to inspire others, because I know Netflix is now in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which I've been in Albuquerque. There's a huge indigenous people population there. They're working with them. Atlanta has a big filming population, South Carolina, North Carolina. I mean, there's other places outside of these big cities that are starting to set up outside of Vegas, Phoenix, Arizona. These are places they're all setting up shop, and people are working together. We're working together because we have this one goal of just getting along and creating content. And that's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. I hope and pray that I can continue to have no problems with who I am with people. That's what I hope.
Yeah. And there's no reason that there should be a problem. And that's what I love about the story, is because, it exemplifies that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That was when you relayed this story to me, that it gave me a lot of hope and inspiration, for the change that I would like to see, in that area as well. And it's a fantastic story.
Thank you. I'm blessed every day with this, and again, my fan bases and followers that where we just we may be different in looks and in how we grew up and geography, but we're all united. We're all united in many things, and that just makes me happier than anything. So, thank you for helping us. Story. More to come, folks. There's more to come. Trust me.
Yep. Well, James, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to check back in with you again, as this continues to grow and evolve, because I'm sure the story is going to continue to grow with it.
We got more. I'll punch it in the face. We got more. We got more going. We got more stuff. We got more stuff coming. Thank you, Jimmy, and Daily Plan, everybody. This is great. I'm glad you guys are helping cover this.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, my friend.